After 19 agonizing days, Fable 5 is back. Almost everyone is celebrating, except Elon Musk and Sam Altman. But before we actually proceed with this AI beast, there have been some fundamental changes in the model that we all need to know. There is a highly restricted usage window till July 7th, and guess what happens after that? The pricing is going to further skyrocket. And on top of the annoying security guardrails that were already in the original Fable 5, additional security layers have now been added. Plus, there is an admission from Anthropic which changes a lot about Fable 5. But despite all the changes, Fable 5 is still the most capable AI we have, and there are ways to use it that turn every dollar we spend into a tangible advantage across our whole workflow, even before the July 7th window closes and afterwards as well. So without any delay, let's get straight into it. Starting with the biggest change, the new pricing structure. Fable 5 came back globally on July 1st across all the Claude platforms, and now on Pro, Max, Steam, and Select Enterprise plans, it is included for up to 50% of our weekly usage limits, but only through July 7th. That is the trap most people are walking into. The free window is 6 days from return to cliff, and because heavy use can hit that 50% of weekly limit ceiling well before July 7th, the real free window for a lot of us is even shorter than 6 days. This is a really short runway by design. And now, what matters even more, after July 7th, it switches to usage credits, which means API pricing will be applicable. That is $10 per million input tokens and $50 per million output tokens. To put that in perspective, that output price is 5 times what Opus 4.8 costs and around 12 times what Sonnet 5 costs. So the moment that window closes, this goes from free on our plan to one of the most expensive models we can run. That single change reshapes how we should think about this entire week, and we will come back to exactly how to play it. But right now, we must know the second change because this is exactly what affects the actual experience of using the model. Here it is. The second big change with Fable 5 is that the version that came back is more locked down than the version that was taken away from us. Anthropic trained a brand new classifier specifically targeting the jailbreak technique that triggered the ban. It blocks that technique in over 99% of cases, and that was independently confirmed by the Commerce Department's own AI evaluation arm, CAISI. That is genuinely good security work. But there is a trade-off Anthropic openly admits. The new classifier is more conservative, which means more false positives on ordinary coding and debugging. When it triggers, it silently falls back to Opus 4.8. And this stings because the original Fable 5 already had a false positive problem. At launch, it was flagging genuinely harmless requests. There were documented cases of it refusing on inputs as simple as the word hello, and an immunologist reported the word cancer being flagged as a biosecurity risk. Anthropic actually apologized for that and admitted they had made the wrong trade-off. Now, the returned version deliberately adds another conservative layer on top of that. So we should expect more interruptions on legitimate work, not fewer. The practical takeaway is simple. If Fable refuses something reasonable, that is the classifier being cautious, and it is quietly routing us to Opus 4.8. Treat a refusal as a routing event, not a failure. And that brings us to the third change, which is the one almost nobody is reporting correctly, because it reframes the entire reason this model was taken away in the first place. Now, this is not a functional change. Rather, this is the change I most want everyone to hear because it is hiding in plain sight inside Anthropic's own return announcement. The ban was triggered when Amazon researchers found a way to prompt Fable 5 into identifying software vulnerabilities, and in one case, producing code showing how a vulnerability could be exploited. That got escalated to the government, and the model was pulled worldwide within hours. But in Anthropic's own redeployment post, they published what they found when they actually investigated. Their testing confirmed that many less capable models, including Claude Opus 4.8, GPT 5.5, and even the open source Kimi K 2.7 could identify the exact same vulnerabilities. And when it came to demonstrating how to exploit them, every single model they tested could produce the same thing, including Haiku 4.5 and Sonnet 4.6. In Anthropic's own words, the reported technique did not expose any unique Mythos-level capability. It was a borderline case involving routine defensive cybersecurity work. Sit with that for a second. The most powerful public model on Earth was pulled from the entire global market for 19 days over a capability that, by the model maker's own testing, basically every other model already had. That is not me editorializing, that is Anthropic's published finding. and almost none of the celebration videos are mentioning it. So those are the three big changes, and now let us talk about why, despite all of that, this model is still the best. As you move to the most crucial portion of the video, do tell me which AI is your absolute favorite. Plus, hit that like button and press that lonely subscribe button as well. Now, here is a thing that got lost in 3 weeks of drama about bans and classifiers. Fable 5 is not just a little better than the other models. The gap is enormous. On SWE Bench Pro, the hardest real-world coding benchmark, Fable 5 posts numbers no other public model comes close to. It carries a full 1 million token context window and can output up to 128,000 tokens in a single response. But the benchmark scores are not the part people miss. The part they miss is what it feels like on long, complex, autonomous work. Fable's real superpower is long horizon execution. It can run for hours, hold the thread across hundreds of steps, recover from its own errors, and verify its own work as it goes. This is what made people describe it as a genuine step change rather than an incremental upgrade. Where Opus 4.8 is excellent, Fable operates in a different class on sustained autonomous tasks. And there is a genuinely useful capability that pairs with this. Fable is exceptional at browser and computer use. Through the Claude for Chrome extension, it can open a browser, walk through an app the way a real user would, find where the experience breaks, and write a report on how to fix it. That combination of long horizon coding and human-like browser testing is what separates it from everything we have been using during the blackout. So the capability is real and the free window is closing fast, which makes the next question the most important one in this whole video. How do we get maximum value before July 7th? Let's have a look. Since the free runway is short, so let us be a bit strategic about spending that 50% allowance on the highest value work possible. First, if we built anything over the last 3 weeks with Opus or another model, the single best move is to have Fable review all of it. Point it at the code we wrote during the blackout and ask for a full review. Find optimizations, catch security gaps, clean up anything unoptimized. Fable is meaningfully better at writing and reviewing code than what most of us were using, so the quality jump shows up immediately. Run this on high reasoning. We do not need the most expensive ultra mode for a code review. Second, use the browser testing capability. Ask Fable to walk through every major user path in whatever we are building using browser control and write a report on where users get confused and how to fix it. Almost nobody uses this, and it is one of the highest leverage things it can do. Third, set up a security loop. Inside Claude Code, the loop skill lets us schedule a recurring task. Point it at our API endpoints, which are the biggest attack vector for any app, and have it check them for vulnerabilities. Because Fable is expensive, run this once a day rather than constantly. Fourth, and this is the one most people overlook, use it as a planning and reasoning partner, not just a code generator. Feed it a real problem, a business decision, a system architecture, a hard trade-off, and let it reason through it. The reasoning quality is where the Mythos class capability really shows, and it is the least token-hungry way to experience what makes this model special. The goal this week is simple. Spend the free allowance on the work where Fable's extra capability genuinely changes the outcome, not on routine tasks a cheaper model handles fine. Which leads directly to the question everyone is going to face on July 8th. What do we do once the free window is gone? Let's find out. This is the part the celebration videos skip entirely, and it is the part that actually matters for our budget. After July 7th, Fable 5 is expensive enough that using it as a daily driver makes no financial sense for most of us. $50 per million output tokens adds up frighteningly fast on long agentic runs, precisely because Fable is designed to run long. So the strategy after the window closes is not use it or lose it, it is use it selectively. Here is the model routing approach that keeps costs sane. Route everyday work to Sonnet 5, which Anthropic launched the same week, or to an open model like GLM 5.2. Both deliver strong results at a tiny fraction of Fable's price. Then reserve Fable exclusively for the tasks where its extra capability pays for itself. The genuinely hard reasoning problems, the complex, long horizon builds, the high stakes work where being right the first time is worth the premium. A concrete way to run this: plan and execute the bulk of a project on Sonnet 5 and only escalate to Fable for the specific sub-problems that are genuinely beyond the cheaper model. That single habit can cut a Fable bill by 10 times while keeping almost all of the benefit. And if we do decide Fable is worth paying for, we have to manually turn on extra usage in settings and deposit credits. It does not happen automatically, which is actually a good guardrail against a surprise bill. Check the usage dashboard before July 7th so the switch does not catch us off guard. So that is the practical playbook, but there are some honest facts that need to be mentioned before we wrap up. Well, on the capability, the enthusiasm is justified. Fable 5 genuinely is the strongest public model available right now, especially for long horizon autonomous work. That part is not hype. On the cost, be realistic. After July 7th, most of us should not run this as a daily driver. Route everyday work elsewhere and reserve Fable for tasks where its capability actually pays for itself. On the security classifier, expect more false positives, not fewer, and treat a refusal as a silent fallback to Opus 4.8 rather than a failure. And on the ban itself, I want to be fair. Anthropic did move quickly to build a targeted fix, and the government signed off through independent testing, so this was not purely theater. But the gap between a 19-day global shutdown and a capability that basically every model already had is a real tension. And it is worth all of us keeping in mind as governments take a more active role in what AI we are allowed to use. By the way, what tasks are you using Fable for, and what alternatives you opted for during the ban? Plus, which is your absolute favorite AI? Do share in the comments. Subscribe to my channel as I am going to cover each aspect of the Fable return, which majority of channels are missing out. I'll see you in the next one.